everybody here for round 18 at Suzuka here in TFR as we go for our long qualifying session starting Q1 now. So last week in Russia we did have an eventful race with our lap 1 incident at turn 1-ish where Finn sadly got DSQ'd because the game doesn't like us. Here we have Zoger and Wheeze about to come out of the box, so we will go on board with Wheeze for a lap of Suzuka. As I'm going to quickly change my headset because I've realised this one's buzzing. 1 second. Yeah, so here we are on with Wheeze for his outlap. Currently the drivers out on track will be Wheeze, Joe, who makes a return today, hasn't seen him in a while. Sorry I say a while, he was here last week, excuse that. Finn on a outlap, Tadpole, Z-Man, Charlie, Crispy, Corey, Rev, and Zoger on outlaps. But the, we have a returning driver here today of the Chiller. He, I believe, last raced for Alpha Tower? I might be wrong. Speaking of Alpha Tower, we have an Alpha Tower leaving the pit lane here, but as we starts his lap, so we will go with him and watch. Negotiates the S's, the first S's very nicely. Makes a very nice tidy line through there, no squirms or losses at the rear end. No understeer as well by the looks of things, or oversteer. As he heads now down to start sector 2. As he heads down now towards the hairpin of turn something. Sorry, I'm not very good with Japan, I honestly don't have a clue. Anyways, as he has gone through Spoon Curve just a moment ago, sorry I was a bit late with that, as he heads down now starting sector 3. We have a car off, by the looks of things it's Charlie on his flying lap. Has had a bit of a crash there. We will go back on board with Wheeze to finish his lap. He comes around the final corner out of the deck, something triangle, Casio triangle, and does a 1:26 and 6, which is good from the McLaren driver. I'm not too sure what good times here are, so I guess we'll find out as Zoger comes across the line to do a 1:26.4, 1:27.4. I read that as 26. Leave me alone. I was gonna say he's gone faster than Wheeze. As Joe does a 1:26.4 here. There you go. As far as I'm aware, Japan is a good track here for Joe. So hopefully we will see some good driving from him today. As Tadpole comes across the line, setting a 1:27.3. Next across is going to be Z-Man, but he's not on a lap, as Corey will be next across on an invalid time. The other half of Crispy will be next across the line doing a 1:28.5. Not good enough currently, I would say. As Charlie will round the final turn to start his his lap again. As Joe's teammate Rev Caterpillar now comes around the final corner goes across that's an interesting banker lap. Joking, obviously, I know that's not a genuine lap. As I believe next driver to be on an actual lap is Corey. What's going on there with it's just Joe letting through DTM Sam. As we have Corey now going down towards Spoon Curve. The Spoon Curve, I should say, not just Spoon Curve. As the now races down towards 150R, I believe. I might be wrong. 130R. I don't know why I said 50. Leave me alone. He races down to 130R. Goes through 130R down to the Casio Triangle. Negotiates negotiates the Casio Triangle very well. Goes down towards the final turn now. Rounds the final turn. Setting a 126.5, going P2, just 1/10 off of, well, less than 10th off of Joe. As I believe Crispy's on an in-lap, so we won't watch him. As Rev has set the fastest sector 2 by the looks of things. As he heads now into through the Casio Triangle. I think he ran onto the grass a bit there. Comes around the turn, final turn. As looks like something going on there with Joe and one of the McLarens. That's not Joe. There you go. That's Joe. I think Joe might be going on consecutive laps as practice, maybe. Because I don't know why he'd want to use all his pace or like just shine in Q1. It's not like that's another yellow flag on track for Rev, but there's nothing going on there, so I guess it's nothing. Oh, low fuel. We are with Corey now as he makes his run down to 130R, goes through 130R. Somewhere we don't tend to see moves, but Fernando Alonso very famously made one on... I can't remember. That's bad for me, I can't remember the driver. As we sit on board with the Williams of Finn on his outlap, because why not? No, we won't. We'll watch JRT-JD on his lap. As he goes through the Casio Triangle now. Sorry, I've been a bit silent there. Goes round the final turn to set a 1 minute 26.4, setting himself into P2. Rev though doing a 126 flat. Sorry, I missed that. As the Ferrari of Barker goes up and does a 128 flat. It's not good enough at all. I know I couldn't do any better, but still. Joe's retired from the session. This isn't an on-track retirement either. He's definitely, or sorry, not a manual retirement. He's definitely crashed. That is Joe's Q3 hopes done there. As we will go on board with the yellow flag for nothing. Okay, Finn as he rounds down to the Spoon Curve. Makes his run round smooth curve. Spoon Curve looks very neat and tidy through there. As he now heads down to 130R. Take a nice tight line wide exit. I'm sorry, I'm not too sure. I don't race Japan ever. As he heads now down to the Casio Triangle, goes a nice run through Casio Triangle. A good exit and touches the grass a bit by the looks of things. Rounds the final corner to set a 1 minute 27.9, good enough for P8. Next across the line is De Chiller, but he's starting his lap. Let's watch his entire lap. as we have the Chiller rounding through the S's, but there's a yellow flag, sorry, in sector 2. That's sector 2 by Spoon Curve, but it's nothing, it's just Bass going through Spoon Curve. We'll go back to the Chiller. That's not Bass, that was Charlie, but same thing. Well, that's a Williams round. That's Finn going slowly through the gravel there. On board with the Chiller, see if there's anything, or it's just Finn being a good team player. Just a good team player there. Whilst the Chiller has invalidated, that's the word, sorry. As Bass is going slowly through here, I'd assume he's out of fuel. Oh, I might as well have mentioned as well. No, maybe not. Not important just yet. But yeah, so whilst we're here, I suppose I'll mention how last week was a very stunning drive from a few drivers. Zoger in particular, in the wet, he looked like he was on a charge. Looked like he was, I believe that might be his best finishing position so far, you know. I might be wrong though. As Bass on his lap, is his teammate Charlie going to hold him up? Doesn't look like it. It looks like Charlie might just be able to get off the racing line just out of the way. Yes, Charlie has moved. As the Chiller is now on a run for another lap here, so we will watch most of this. Is that a Williams round, maybe? Nope, it's taking the runoff to be good for the other cars. Spence has now retired in the pit lane by the looks of things, as the Chiller rounds the S's. As I am really quickly, sorry, I've got to change something on my TV because I can't see anything now. So give me a second. I can see again now, my screen is no longer black. Here we go. So who was I on board with? The Chiller, that was it. As he has ran wide somehow. I believe that should have been an invalidation, but it wasn't. Making full abuse of the track limits there, but there is a yellow flag. Only, okay, I guess it's nothing, but the Chiller now goes down to the Casio Triangle, apparently setting a fastest sector 2 here. I know he was very pacey when he was in F2 all those seasons ago. As I believe he was a champion, as he rounds the final turn now to do a 127.6, putting him in P10, as we have an Alpha Tauri on an out lap here, so we will sit on board with him, I suppose, but there's a Red Bull out, so we will be on board with him for a while. So as the Red Bull now starts his flying lap, I don't know if this is a genuine flying lap or it's practice. Like he's getting himself in a bit of practice, most likely just getting himself in a bit of practice like Joe attempted to do before he so horribly put it in the dirt. I believe that's yellow flags in sector 2. Mercedes cars here. The Chiller is just turned Mercedes into a lawnmower again, as TTM Sam is not on a lap by the looks of things. Watch back on with Corey as he approaches this mess. We'll go on board with him. Did one of the Renaults bin it? Sorry, I was having a moment. As I believe that's Red Hawk who's ran wide here. There's yellow flags back off in sector 1. I believe that is just Corey starting his lap. Yes, it was. As he rounds the first turn now, we will go on board with a good lap with him. So I suppose it's only a practice lap again, but it's still good to watch these things. As he rounds all of the S's in sector 1, that's pretty much all sector 1 is. As he makes his run through, I'm not too sure what that's called, or if it even has a name. As he heads now down into Degnall, I believe that's Degnall. I'm not going to say it because I don't know. He heads now down to the hairpin here. Looks like a very okay lap from him so far, in car number 21. As he makes his run towards Spoon Curve now. It's a very nice line through the Spoon Curve there. As Tadpole has retired in the pit lane. So currently TTM Sam and Z-Man both do need to improve. Otherwise they are going to be knocked out of qualifying. Sam has, there you go, he's gone up a 127 flat here. And Z-Man also jumped up to a 127.3, so now it's Barker and Crispy that need to improve. But Barker won't have the chance to, but Crispy will. Will Crispy have the chance actually? Yay, there you go. So this is in very impressive times from the drivers so far, all keeping it roughly within top 15 or separated by nearly 2 seconds. I'm not even going to go for an accurate because my eyes hurt and I can't see that because it's quite small. But here's Sam on his in-lap, Corey again I'd assume on an in-lap, unless he's just doing more practice for himself. Crispy actually, he is on his lap to try and get himself out of Q1. He does go on the... sorry, pardon me. Does go on the grass there, car number 22 in the Haas. No, Crispy in the Haas at car number 22. That makes more sense. As there's a little overtaking game going on down the back straight here. Anyway, back to Crispy. He has a bit of a mishap with the rear on the exit there. Makes his run down to Spoon Curve, has a nice line on entry. Keeps it pretty tight, misses both apexes, and not by a lot, but still missed them. As he now makes his run down to 130R. Apparently the fastest sector 2, I'm not sure I believe that, but he sorry about that. He rounds the final turn now. Is he going to get himself out of Q1? There's a 128.3, we will find out in a second. That was enough? No, it wasn't enough. B17. So here is your Q2 order here. Rev in P1, Spence P2, JD P3, Corey P4, Wheeze P5, TTM Sam P6 with a very good lap from him, Bass P7 again, also a very good lap, JRT Tadpole P8. A bit off the pace here, I know he can definitely go faster. Z-Man P9, Charlie P10, Zogra 11th, Chiller 12th, Redhawk 13th, Finn 14th, and Joe in 15th, sadly being knocked out of qualifying because of his incident, otherwise he would have been safe. Right then, as we're here now for the start of Q2. I did have issues with my TV again, so sorry about that. But looks to be the Chiller starting his lap first. A lot of drivers opting for the medium compound here. Chiller has being not the Chiller. Yes, this is the Chiller. Who is first out? It's Finn by the looks of things on the soft compound tire. For some reason, it looked like the Chiller to me. I don't know why. Sorry if you hear any like chewing or anything. I'm just eating because I need to get it out of the way before the race. Finn runs quite wide there on his outlap. Car number 60, no, 88. Don't know why I read that as 66. Zoger letting people pass for some reason, both McLarens here. Anyways, we will go back to Finn and we will do a full onboard of his lap. As he starts his lap now, going on the run down to turn 1 here, goes through turn 1 quite nicely, goes into turn 2 quite tight on the apex there, gets a good exit, runs through the S's quite smoothly on the soft compound tires, so it will be providing the best grip possible. Gets a good exit from all the S's here, goes off the track a bit, doesn't invalidate thankfully. Obviously the fastest sector 1 being the first out on track here. Heads down to what I believe was the 2 Degnas, I'm not too sure though. Goes through down to the hairpin, now takes the hairpin not as tight as you'd want to. Because otherwise that happens, you lose the rear. And it's not good for your tyres. Takes a tight line there down towards Spoon Curve, has a tight line through Spoon Curve, loses it on the exit but keeps it. I was expecting a crash there. Heads down now on the back straight run towards 150R, 130R. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying 150. Obviously the fastest sector 2 because fastest car, we'll see if Red Hawk takes that away from him. Yes he does. Fastest car, I meant first car. Casio Triangle now, negotiates it very well, gets a good exit. Runs down towards the start finish line and sets a 128.9 as Red Hawk now will come across the line to set a 128.8 on the medium compound tires, going faster, as the Chiller will cross the line with an invalid lap next. So next to cross the line on a valid lap will be Corey with a 126.6 here, smashing Red Hawk's time by over a second. As Charlie boxes, so next will be Z-Man going through the Casio Triangle here on his first lap. Comes round the final turn across the line, set at 128.1 here, going P2. But Wheeze will probably not take that. Oh, it's not a good lap for Wheeze. That's JRTJD there, setting a flying lap there, a 126.7, barely off of Corey there. Zoger going P3 on the mediums with a 128.1. Well done to Zoger. Tadpole now comes across the line on the soft compound tires at the 26.8, just pushes Zoger out. No he doesn't, he does it by 2 seconds, leave me alone. The Spence will now come across the line on an invalid lap. So, who is next? It would be the Chiller, wouldn't it, because he validated. As is that the Haas off through? He was just moving out the way for the Red Bull. As we go back here now, there's yellows in sector 2, but no cars look like they've spun, but maybe the Williams has. No, he's just off track for the go past. We will go back on board with the Chiller as he makes his run down to 130R. Has a good run through 130R. He's not on a lap, I don't think. The RS is off. locks up heavily, so I... Not on a lap, no. Okay. Because the McLarens are, have collided. Wow. Both McLarens coming together there, that's not what you want to see. First rule, never hit your teammate. Finn completely cutting across the track there to enter the pit lane. A very good pit entry by him. As I believe Spence will be the next to set a lap as he goes through 130R, heads down to the Casio Triangle. Good run through Casio Triangle, doesn't invalidate. Gets a good flying exit, rounds the final corner quite tight. He sets a 126.7, putting him up into P2, just passing his teammate. But now we have the runners out on laps as we go on board with Charlie as he's just spun off into the gravel there. Resets the track. I don't think that'll be penalised purely because it's qualifying. As we go on board with Red Hawk, who's invalid, so... That's Zoger here, trying to set another lap. Thinks he can go faster. I probably think he can go faster. Goes through Spoon Curve now. Quite a dodgy run through Spoon. Good exit from Spoon. Makes the run down to 130R here. Very flying run. Okay. Zoger apparently sets fast to sector 2. I don't want to believe that. He looked like to have a bit of a squirm there. I'm not too sure, and I think that's just lag, because that would have killed any other driver. He rounds the Casio Triangle here. Lag is not what we want to see, as he makes his run down to the turn, the line. That's a 127.6, going 5 tenths faster, but not improving on his position, I don't think. One sec. Sorry, my TV keeps black screening. Just unplug my TV and plug it back in and I'll be right back. Right, I think it should be fine now. I think the thing's loose. Huh? What? I'm speechless. I don't have a reaction to that. That's a phenomenal lap by Bass. Jesus Christ. What the? I'm sorry, my reaction to Bass. I don't know. Sorry, we've had a retirement on track. Let's go on board with Rev because he will be going past that. He just misses it. Sorry about that. But I had to. Finn goes on, sets a 127.5, but I don't I don't... Sorry, that's a phenomenal lap from Bass. Wow. I would not have expected that from Bass, as both McLarens come out together, probably after having some strong words with their team principal, Phil. We will watch Wheeze on his outlap whilst I quickly have a drink and quickly eat something. So we will go on board with Finn, who is on his lap now. No, he's not. Yeah, it's a yellow flag. No one is currently on lap, so we will just watch Wheeze here. As both McLarens practically starting their laps at the same time, it's probably not the best idea. Oh, that Z-Man giving Wheeze as much of a tow as he possibly could have. I'm sorry, but I'm still quite speechless from Bass's lap. He's a good driver in all respects, but that was just phenomenal. That was so out of character. But anyways, the drivers needing to improve right now is Wheeze, Red Hawk, Rev and Sam, and Z-Man will need to improve because I feel like Wheeze will improve. I feel like Wheeze is guaranteed to improve. As Wheeze goes through 130R now, he's not on a lap, but the Z-Man is. He's 7/10 up on his time. He touches the grass on exit. He sets a 127.1. That's put him into P6. So Wheeze now, the star McLaren driver here, will need to improve on his lap. As the AlphaTauri crosses the line now, 3 seconds up on his time, he's invalid, so he's going to be going for another lap. But we have Rev here, who's yet to set a lap, beginning his flyer, so we will watch. Actually, no, we will watch the Papaya McLaren first. No, we won't, he's invalid. That's not the McLaren I wanted to watch. This was the McLaren I wanted to watch. As he makes his run down Spoon Curve now. As TTM Sam robs Bass Branch of that fastest lap by over 2/10, I feel bad for Bass, but again, amazing lap by Sam and Bass. Looks like there was a bit of misfortune for Wheeze there through Spoon. But Z-Man I meant, sorry, not Wheeze. As Wheeze's lap is invalid. He would have been in. Z-Man not making Q3, neither's Joe. Wow, there's a Haas off, but I believe that's non-track retirement. Yes, it is. So last to set a lap now is I believe the Chiller. The Red Hawk did set one, but that's Rev there setting the fastest lap at 1:25.6, going nearly a second clear of Bass's time. As the Chiller runs now down to the line, sets a 1:26.3, picking him into P2. That's Mercedes 2.3 for Q2. Impressive stuff. Are now just waiting on Z-Man to retire. Sorry, I lied. We're waiting for Sam to finish his lap. No, he's not. We're waiting for him to retire. Because he doesn't need to do a lap, because he's very safe. So here is your Q2 top 10 here for the top 10 shootout. We have 7 different teams in no, we don't. 6 different teams fighting out for pole position here today. 10 drivers, 6 teams. Who will come out on pole? That very important race. We will find out in about 10 minutes time. What I do know is it's going to be extremely close qualifying here, and I will hopefully be struggling to catch my breath by the end of this, as all the drivers are so close to each other on the track. As JD now begins his lap, heading down towards turn 1 and negotiates turn 1 very nicely. I believe he might have missed the apex on turn 1, but definitely got it on turn 2. This is a yellow flag for the car slowing down, ready to start their laps, so we will ignore that. JD has a very nice run through the S's, goes on to the exit S here. It always, to me, looks like they lose the rear end through there. Sets the fastest sector 1, obviously goes the exit of what I believe again is the second Degna, but someone will kill me for that if I got it wrong. He heads now in to the hairpin here, makes the exit of the hairpin. I don't believe this is going to be a fastest for him. No, okay, his ERS was off for a second, but it's back on now, as he heads now down towards the spoon curve here. It touches the grass a little bit, has a nice run through spoon. Mercedes letting each other by there, has a nice exit on spoon, heads now down, 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 down. It's technically up, he heads up, but down to 130R. Has a smooth tight run through 130R, heads now to the Casio triangle. Negotiates the Casio triangle very well, goes down to the final turn here. Exits the final turn, he sets a 125.9, I can tell you that won't be fastest enough for pole here. As Spence comes across the line to set a 126 flat, again won't be fast enough. Corey on an invalid lap here. Would have done a 126 flat as well, so still wouldn't have been fast enough. As I believe the chiller's not on his lap anymore, he stopped, but Sam here saying a 126.4 going in P3. As there's a Red Bull there, it's Tadpole, and he's going to come across the line with a bit of a tow from the Mercedes, setting a 126.5. Next driver to cross the line will be Rev in about half a lap's time. As Rev goes through the Casio triangle now, runs down to the final turn here. Runs through the final turn, and it's 125.6, and it's provisional pole position for Rev Caterpillar. If anyone watching stream could let me know if the game volume is too low, I can barely hear it, but it don't matter what I can hear, it's just down if you guys can hear it. As I believe that's the Racing Points entering the pit lane. Yes, it is. As that's Mercedes of Chiller setting a 126.6, only good enough for P6 here. But again, Rev, a full track sector flag yellow, that one. There we go. I got there in the end. But that was for some reason full yellows. I'm not too sure why. As I don't know why I'm still on board with Rev. He's already set his lap. He might be on a faster one though, so I guess I'll wait and find out. Nah, he's not. Okay. As he boxes here, as I believe Bass, I think, is the one to watch here today. Or in at least this qualifying session, after his solid lap, I believe he can at least get it onto the second or third row of this. Especially with key players like Joe and Weeze not being here. I believe the third row is definitely possible for him. As he makes his run into the hairpin now, takes a tight line through the hairpin. Loses it on exit, like I said, it seems to be one of a common theme here today. Sector flags in sector flags, yellow flags in sector 2, but that I believe would be for Ditchiller because he's going to be out of fuel. Yes. So we will go back to Bass here. Sorry. Who makes his run now out of spoon curve down to 130R. Car number 72, the Renault here. He has been here all season. I had the privilege of being teammates with him once. But that's not important here as he rounds the Casio triangle, heads down to the final turn, runs through the final turn, setting a 126.7, putting him into P7 here. That's unfortunate. I think he can do that faster, and I believe he's going to try already. As was one of the Racing Points about to cross the line, but that's the start of lap. No, just I'm not doing that. Anyways, who was I watching? Sorry, Bass has improved on his time, but it's no more than, what was it, a third of a tenth, but that's a racing point. Low fuel? No, he just, I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm not too sure what he did there. If someone knows who's watching and they would like to try and tell me, be very welcome. Z-Man is on his outlap. He's leaving it hoping he can do one run and it be fast enough for a good position here. So whilst we wait for more laps to be set, let's talk about F1 next year heading to Miami. Looks to be another street circuit, looks to be a bit like Jeddah, possibly hard to overtake on. Anyways, I'll drop that, I'll bring it back up if we have a safety car later. As JD now goes through the Casio Triangle, rounds the final corner into the pit lane. I think he's happy with... I think he's happy with P2 here. But Spence will be the next then to cross the line. Yeah, it will be Spence next to set a lap. He's on his run down now to 130R. He's a tenth up on his time. It definitely won't be fast enough though. He rounds the Casio Triangle now. That's a 125.9. It's fast enough to put himself on the front row of the grid, pushing his teammate down off the front row. But that's Z-Man, spinning around. Not too sure if it was a good lap or not, but that was definitely a spin of some sorts. I rarely see anyone drop it through there. A lot of people say it's quite common, but I don't think it is. As this is Corey on his outlap, he's also yet to set a lap. He left it very late. This is going to be very close for the end of qualifying. This is 1 minute 13 left of the session. These drivers will be hoping they can get around quick enough. As Tadpole's starting a lap here now, Charlie and the Brennos just had to move off. Tadpole, who's going to be the first person on a lap? It's Spence, but Spence isn't on a lap. So we will go on board with Sam, and we will do it in order of when they cross the line. As Sam heads now towards the spoon curve, goes through the spoon curve. Makes a run. Starts making his run down to the 130R. He's going to get a toe off of JD here. That was very fine margins. Wow. I would not have liked to have been in either of those cars at that point. As Sam goes through the Casio Triangle now. Z-Man not going to be able to set a time. Sam goes into the pit lane. So it will be the Chiller next to cross the line to set a 135 something, and he's going to hope this next lap he does is good enough. But we have Tadpole now about to run the final corner. That's Charlie, I believe that's round. Yes, it was. That was Charlie that was round, but Tadpole's got P5 with a 126.5. As Bass is on his lap now, but he's got the Alfa Romeo of Rev Caterpillar chasing him down. And that's JD chasing them down. So, see a very good end to qualifying, but that's Corey now, rounding the Casio Triangle. Gets a good exit, runs down towards the line, and only goes on to second. Just missing out on pole position by a very fine margin. So Bass will be the next then to set his lap. He makes his run down to 130R. I said that's so weird. 130R. There you go. He rounds 130R. He is up on his time. I didn't see by how much though. He goes through the Casio triangle now, hoping to set a much faster lap than what he did before, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be. It's gonna be a 126.3. It is faster. It's 5th. That was Rev again with a faster lap. JD with a not a fast enough lap. And I didn't see the Mercedes crossing the line, so I guess I don't know with that one. That's an exceptional qualifying for Bass there. So, the top 3 here separated by less than a tenth. But here is your qualifying top 10 for the race in just about 3 minutes. I am sorry, but I really quickly need to do something before the race. So I will be silent before the race, but I will be back before the end of the formation lap. Right, I am back, as I said I would be by the end of the formation lap. So here's Rev now heading down. Well, all the drivers really heading down to take their mark on the grid. Ready for lights out in just about 20 seconds. I think this is always my favourite bit of the start of a race, is watching the grid form up. So here are all of the cars. I believe they are lined up. As it's... I guess it's the best camera angle we're getting. The game gonna give us a better camera? There we go. As it is 5 red lights here in Japan, and away we go here, underway for the race. Rev gets a brilliant start here, hits into Corey. Corey's up into P1 already before turn 1. Further down the grid, not much is happening. There is a McLaren and a Renault side by side here. There's McLaren just touching into the grass as the Williams of Finn is off. Lost a bit of front ring there, as Zoger is also off. As we climb up the pack here through the S, is not a very smart place to even try and go side by side. But Tadpole and Bass are going to not be side by side. That's going to be Sam and the Renault of Bass Branch. Bass Branch slightly squeezes Sam off the track there, but has made it work. But will Sam fight it back and go for a dive? No, but he will look for the outside, but he doesn't find anything on the outside. Bass covers him off very well. As we run to the closest gap here, Finn letting Zoger by, Finn knowing holding him up is just going to hold himself up. We have a fight here for P13. It's not for points, but it's a fight nonetheless. But there is a fight for points out the road as Z-Man got past Charlie. As Rev and Corey do seem to be very close going into the Casio Triangle. Rev's going to look for the outside line on the Casio Triangle, which will turn to the inside line, which will then become outside again. But it might work here, as Rev doesn't manage to do it on lap 1, but he will eventually take back that position on softer compounded tyres. But what? Why is Rev... What's happened to Rev? Oh, it's the glitch, right? No, he is ghosted for people. Why is he ghosting? Not too sure, but this is JD all over the back of Rev, who's not there but is there. I'm gonna wait a second. That's yellow flags off in the back, and that is Crispy Hang losing it on the S's. Just waiting for this to reset itself because I cannot say anything whilst this is doing a thing. But what I can tell you is that Corey does have a clear lead now over JD. Sorry, this hurts my head. No, game fix yourself. Sorry, this is kind of a pain. There we go. As Rev is closing up to JD again. Corey set another fastest lap, 1:30.1. Obviously it was lap 2, so it makes sense to set another fastest, but no one else on softer tyres does it. So we'll go to see who's on what tyres. There you go, the top 2 on the mediums, both showing very strong pace then. Looking like they will be trying to do a medium to hard maybe. But Rev either looking to extend those softs to go soft to hard, or he's going to be doing a 2-stop here today. We fall further down the grid, Joe up into P8 already. He's also on the medium, so he will be looking to do a medium to hard strategy, but... Who is that that's all over? That's there you go. That's Z-Man and Charlie there, very close together, but Z-Man is again catching up to Joe. Looks like it could be a very promising fight later on. But that's another Haas, not another Haas, that's just a Haas. Who is round. And that is the virtual safety car, so we will go on board with the Alpha Tower here to see what happened. He is in the wall. Sorry, I'm being joined by someone. I need to invite them to the lobby really quick. Not the lobby, the thing. The commentary box. As we are beginning lap 4 now, but under virtual safety car. As I believe that's Rev that's boxed. What's he boxing for? Wing damage, hards, mediums? Going on to the hards, he thinks he can take them to the end maybe. As DRS is enabled and we're back for green flag running here, Corey getting a relatively good restart. But further down the grid, that's not a McLaren, that's a Mercedes. The Mercedes and the Red Bull seem to be very close together here. As that's De Chiller up into P3 on his debut for Mercedes. But that's Bass off! Where is he? There he is. He's lost an end plate there, that is going to affect him later on in the race. As again, I need to invite the person because they're useless. So, right, again, sorry, here we are with the onboard with the McLaren here as Charlie gets up close, but that's a yellow flag back there. As I guess the AlphaTauris, Alfa Romeos must have done a double stack because they're P13 and 14 and there's an 18-second gap. As De Chiller is climbing up to JD once again. We may see some fighting from them over the next couple laps, very close between them. You included your audio? I am rejoined in the commentary box by good old Josh from Singapore, if anyone here was there watching that. As there is a fight quickly on track between Zoger and Rev. That's not a fight, Zoger has just let Rev through, I believe. Yeah, as Bass has decided to box for the mediums, not doing what Joe and Rev have done. But Joe has picked up a penalty. Yeah, I don't know. I got on board with him just as he was out, but I don't know what fully happened. Oh, I saw. I didn't see, but... oh god. As there's no fascinating camera angles here today, but Charlie is catching up to the back of Z-Man, slowly going through 130R now. Could he eventually, maybe next lap, pull off a Fernando Alonso through there? You know what I'm on about. He pulled a move on a, I can't remember what, on who, but he did a move around the outside and through 130R. Verstappen. Although, I believe it's Hamilton only didn't win it because of his damage, but... and his running off, but we will possibly discuss that under safety car or something. As Charlie has got within 2/10 of Z-Man here, maybe Charlie has got more pace as he seems to get a good run on him out of there, but just not getting close enough down towards Deck. That is Degna, isn't it? He did run wide off there though. That's not a good thing for him. But Tadpole and Sam look quite close together here. The Mercedes v Red Bull we want to see in real life, which we have been given in real life, but now we're going to see it here in TFR. As I felt bad for Checo. Sam is catching up to Tadpole here. Tadpole, thankfully for the Tadpole, there's no DRS down this straight. Otherwise, I believe Sam would have caught up by now as they make the run down into 130R. As these front runners here seem to be very gapped out apart from Sam and Tadpole, but the midfield from 6th to 10th, they're very bunched up. It's weird. Did you see the Q2 with Bass on the fastest lap? Sorry, Sam has just made the move going down to turn 1 on Tadpole. Looks like Tadpole let that one slide, but I guess we'll find out over the next couple laps if he fights back. A lot of drivers running car number 22 here. We have, I think it's the Shootout name. Shootout name number because he's got it. Everyone sort of goes for it. I've noticed. As currently Mercedes, I believe this is their best running position since Vietnam, P3 and 4. I believe in Vietnam they had a driver on the podium who sadly had it robbed away from him by a stupid collision from a Williams, I want to say. Yeah. Yeah, it was Williams because yeah. I remember that one very well. As again, the front runners are just, I think they're 5 seconds clear now, nearly 6 seconds clear of the midfield. It sounds better, to be fair. Well, that's all that matters. As Charlie has chosen this is his pit window, so he's got a 5-second penalty for it there. Doing the one stop, I believe. Yeah, Hard's one stop. Yeah, he double stacked as well, so very unfortunate for him. But this is the McLaren's now P6 and 7. A very unfortunate Q2 for Weeze, not being able to make it into Q3. But this is Sam and Tadpole again for what, the 4th lap in a row now, are very close to each other. Nothing separating these two. Corey and JD have gone quite lucky here because they'll be able to go till lap maybe 13 and then chuck on hards and go to the end. I think that pretty much guarantees them their current positions. Because the mediums will definitely start to get faster than the softs now. As he proved in Australia round 1. Oh, that's a Renault round of Charlie doing donuts now. That's Weeze taking the runoff there, falling back down behind the racing point. Z-Man has boxed for the soft compound, not for the soft compound tyres, for the hard compound tyres, doing a one-stop as well. Weird because I feel like someone's going to do a 2-stop just to test the water. Looks like at the moment, if these positions do stay how they are, Sam will be picking up a podium if he doesn't pick up a penalty. Yeah, especially on this game in general. They don't always feel too nice. But once again, that midfield pack, if you look at them when they're on the map, they seem so inseparable. Because that's Weeze and Spence currently fighting out for P7. Weeze on the hard compound tyres, he's already boxed then. So he's looking to go to the end by possibility. 1 second. Yeah, Finn's on softs, but he's P16, so I suppose that's not really Because I think he proved at Monza he's got the pace. It's a lot more than 20 seconds. Z-Man's 10 seconds off. Some seconds. There's Sam and De Chiller now. They look very close together here, so this could be a Mercedes fight. No team orders potentially. Mercedes in TFR. Yeah, I think if Sam proves he can show he's faster, I think De Chiller will just let him go. You'd hope he'd do that, being a good teammate, but we don't know here. Oh, I thought they were double stacking then. As De Chiller chucks on the mediums. Ooh. Oh, who else boxed? I actually think that the mediums will go to the end from here. They should be able to do 17 laps. They'll be dead, but they'll do it. Yeah, if we head into the race director, we can see Sam's laps. And if you look, since about lap 7, they've been dropping off. Yeah, since about lap 7. Whereas Corey is just gone faster. He's just getting faster and faster. He's got 2 warnings though, so that could lead to a penalty. Zoger's the sort of driver that if he can tell someone's faster, he will just let them go. Yeah. As Charlie picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, that's going to put him up to 8 seconds, I think. Yep, there you go, 8 seconds of penalties. As Sam has now boxed, he's going in for the mediums as well. Yeah, they are. This is going to be a move into 130R up the inside from Joe. That's, again, a move. Safety car deployed. Oh, no. So, there's a few things we can talk about here over our time of need. Corey's got this so perfectly, by the way. Him and the top 4 can box for mediums and they'll be somewhat okay. Hards, softs, they could do... No, they'd have to do soft hards. Anyways, so, real life news, I suppose, with F1. Before we get to that, we should start with... the 2020 game. 2021 game, sorry. Shut up. July 16th, it was leaked and then confirmed. And then we saw, I assume most people have seen the trailer by this point. Well, as we, I'm sorry I'm going to have to spoil a few things here, but Devon Butler makes a return. And if anyone remembers, no, he makes a return, I think, as a driver. Corey's gone for softs. He's going to emerge in the lead, so he's going to pull a gap and chuck another set of softs on later. Yeah, but he'll pull a gap, is what I'm saying. JD's on hard, he's going to come out in second. He's going to slow people down. You know what I mean? I think visually it will be the same, yeah, but like obviously the cars with their liveries and even the floor obviously will have to be different because IRL. That will obviously get cut back. As I believe some of the liveries have been posted on the official Formula 1 game Instagram account. Some of the cars, like their liveries. Yeah, but they're not coming out when the game comes out. They're going to be released as post-launch content. It's free. I mean, it is an EA game now. Although EA didn't have as much didn't have pretty much any influence on this game, but they will for next year's. Oh, that's a good talking point. Next year, Miami. Yep, F1 going to Miami next year. I forgot what the track's going to be called, but I believe by looking at it, it's a street circuit. I believe it had like 15 to 16 turns. It looked pretty much like a smaller version of Jeddah. But it should be, I think that'll take us up to what, a 24 race calendar? If we keep this year's calendar as well. And that Miami track will stay for at least 10 years because of the contract they've got in place. Yeah, it must be if they're going to be putting 10 years of it in. But I think that's the first time F1's raced in Miami, I think. I also think it's in a car park, like the, I think there was one in, where was it, Indianapolis, years ago that was in a car park. I've just been told your audio's not included. Nope. Got something wrong then in the settings. Nope. I've heard you really well the whole time. I hate Twitch. Talk.
I thought when they said they can't hear me, I thought it was just my mic. Ugh.
They can hear you. Because I can hear you on the stream, so they can hear you.
Oh, is it only just now?
I'd assume so, I don't know, I haven't had the stream.
I literally just turned it off and back on, yeah, off and back on, and then
Alright.
now it's fine.
So, a bit more of a talking point whilst we wait for the safety car. Oh, what was it? Imola today. Started off a rain race, a wet race. Verstappen took the lead from P3 into P1 in turn 2, sorry. But I think one of the biggest talking points of that race,
Yeah.
was Bottas and Russell.
What happened?
They came together in a very big crash. Bottas was nearly lapped at this point, by the way. It was into turn 1. George tried to go to the outside of Bottas. Bottas tried to close the door, but he left the car's width. But obviously there was just the dry line and then a wet bit of the track, or damp. Where George went onto the damp, or the bit might have just touched the grass slightly, and that sent him sideways into Bottas, and that took them both out.
Oh.
But a lot of people tried to claim that was more Bottas' fault than it was George's, but as we get the safety car in this lap call, I thought the safety car's going to be red on the next game, ain't it? Or possibly the Aston Martin one, we don't know yet.
Oh yeah, we also get a return on mission winner.
That's true. I will let you have this for the green flag running.
Yep. Marshall's started now, and JD right next to Dicholo. Dicholo right behind him. I say he's next to him, but he's right behind him. Tails. Front wheel, right behind. Front wheel. Oh my god, I'm stuttering so much right now. But yeah, Jolo gets an overtake on Bass Branch. That's, I think, the only overtake, apart from Rev also getting the overtake on Barker, who almost spins, I think. Yeah, not much really going on in that restart, but Marshall already has a 1 second lead over JD, and I imagine it'll just keep going bigger, seeing as two opposites in tyres.
Yeah, like literally going from hardest to softest. So Corey is probably hoping here to build up a nice big gap all the way down to P1 or maybe as long as his gap is big enough, I think he'll re-emerge in the top 3.
Yeah.
On softs, and he'll just fly through everyone again.
Joe's really fighting his way through the field, back into the points, right behind Z-Man, and once he gets past Z-Man, he's just gonna be going on a rampage.
Sorry to cut you off, but this is Wheeze and Red Hawk here. They had a fight through 130R. Thought Wheeze was gonna go for a dive down into the Casio triangle, but he didn't.
Well, he's going for a move now. Might stick
I've been given the worst camera angle by the game.
Yeah,
It just put me inside the brake duct.
Oh. Why would you put a camera in the brake duct?
I don't know. Or right by the brake duct, I should say.
Yeah.
As we head further back here, the Wheeze, Red Hawk and Charlie are very close together. All hoping to take the current tyres they're on to the end, which will be possible now because of that safety car. But Barker and Joe is climbing up to Barker here. Barker with Wi-Fi difficulties. Joe potentially making a move here. No, he wasn't going to do it. You thought better of making a move into the hairpin. As they head now down to the spoon curve. Joe has definitely got much better traction and everything, obviously because medium compound tyres. He goes to the inside for the spoon curve.
Oh,
we can have a repeat of Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen here. No, we're not. As he sticks behind here, but that's Spence, and no, it's not. It's still Joe and Thingy. I don't know why I was thinking it was anyone else. So it's Joe and Spence here, heading down into the Casio triangle. Joe's going to go for a move around the outside into the first section of the Casio triangle, but that turns into the inside. Joe didn't get a better exit. Spence got a better exit, but that's that. They're still side by side, heading across the line now. DRS is now online, enabled, but not for them to use yet until next lap. As that's Rev, not Joe. What? I was looking at Rev and they are going side by side through the S's now. That's impressive stuff. Rev's gone off onto the grass. That was going to happen.
Oh, he's losing his way now. That is a big amount of oversteers. Giving Joe the position, and
Jesus Christ.
Did he collide with Barker there?
It looked like it, but Z-Man's now going to be looking to have a go, and he's gone through the inside, and maybe he might even be exposed to Zoger. No, he's not. It's not gone that bad. But that is Red Hawk off in the back of the field, in the wall, lucky not to lose his wheel there. Somehow still got a full front wing.
Yeah, he does as well. Damage in this game is really broken.
Oh, I know.
That battle for 8th.
That was scary. It was a very good fight through the S's, though I must give it to both drivers, but someone had to give way eventually, and I know neither of them wanted to.
Gets through Z-Man. That is Z-Man. Wherever that corner is.
Z-Man is going to try and look to keep it around the outside, possibly for 130R, but he doesn't manage to. But he is going to look possibly for the move down into the Casio triangle. Thinks better of it, definitely doesn't do it. And he'll probably start to drop off now because of the tyre difference. But that is Barker into the pit lane. Maybe him and...
Barker's retired. Did he have wing damage? I think he collected wing damage.
No, he's got full front wing.
Oh.
They didn't change his wing either.
Oh, I wonder why then. Maybe a
their manager Ollie isn't going to be very happy about that. 2 drivers out of the race.
Yeah, shush. Less of that.
As Z-Man now the lead of the 2 McLarens, but Zoger here sat in a McLaren sandwich. That's very, a papaya sandwich. How fun.
I mean, you wouldn't mind it, would you?
It depends. Okay. But Wheeze is looking, even trying to make a move, even on the apex of the turn there. Z-Man just carrying so much more speed through the hairpin than Zoger ahead of him. As they head now down towards Spoon.
Yeah, but because of Zoger holding him up, Bass Bunch has been able to get a move. They stay together, but Bass gets the move done. I doubt
Very impressive from Bass.
I doubt this will allow Zoga to push too far because the pace is much better than his, especially to say not switch to the mediums.
Yeah, tire difference again. As I've just took a look at the penalties here, Joe is on 6 seconds of penalties, but there is something going on between him and Spence here.
And Joe takes fifth. That safety
As
car
Rev
really
has caught
saved
back
his
up
race.
to this. Yeah, it has saved this race for Alfa Romeo here, as they are second in the championship at the moment. And Joe is also second in the championship, but I believe his championship hopes, as much as I want him to win, they are gone. Purely because of his IRL F4 stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But here's Rev all over the back of Spence. They're nearly colliding on the exit of the S's as they head down to what I believe again is Degna 1, but I'm not too sure.
Oh,
Rev looks for the outside. He's just cut the grass the whole way. Goes through Degna 2, gets a good exit. It's very easy to drop it in the gravel like he just did. And they head now down to the hairpin. He locks up quite massively in the hairpin. As that's Bass really up the gearbox with Zoga there. Has even Charlie's been able to make a move on Wheeze since that altercation happened.
Oh, yeah. Bass. Why is wrong? Something has to be wrong with Wheeze then, because he's just dropped off pace massively.
Yeah, his times are dropping. But here, Bass looking to make a move down into the Casio triangle here.
What's happening with Zoga? I think he's lagging.
Oh my god!
What is happening? Is Zoga lagging for you as well?
Yeah, he is.
Good lord.
I'd be fearing for my life if I was Bass right now. That looked horrible. The Chiller and Tadpole have swapped positions. And Rev has been left at the exit of turn 2.
That is... Yeah, that's Rev. And I think that could be his race over.
Possibly, unless we see another safety car, which, I mean...
Mother books.
It's possible. We could see it. Joe is now in P5 here, and given the clean air to catch up to Chiller and Tadpole.
Oh, Wheeze. Oh, Wheeze.
What's going on? Oh, Wheeze has binned it into the gravel.
You should have seen the fight there. They were just... Wheeze, Bass and Charlie were all touching the back of each other. How's Rev caught up that quickly? What the hell?
If you're questioning that, you should have seen F2 the other day. Yesterday.
Why?
Someone had mad traction on the exit of every turn in the wet. It was... No one could understand until afterwards what he was doing. But anyways, back to the here and now. Charlie and Bass have swapped positions. Bass clearly has lost it at some point because he is a considerable 2 seconds back from Charlie now. As pointless as it is for Charlie to even be here at this point because he's on 11 seconds of penalties. Not very good for him, but Joe is slowly catching up to the back of the Mercedes of the Chiller. But Joe, again, like Charlie, has penalties. So unless he can pull a big enough gap, then this ain't going to be good for him. As the Chiller's tire, not the Chiller, sorry, Corey's tires, they're 7 laps old and they still look pretty good in condition and stuff.
He's not really pulling away anymore. He stopped pulling away around 5 laps of wearing those tires, but
let's take a look. Keep an eye on track fights for me, but let's take a look at his lap times. He's done every lap apart from his first flying lap. They've all been in the 29s.
A Red Hawk.
His first flying lap was a 28 though.
Yeah, Red Hawk overtakes Wheeze. I think Wheeze still has wing damage. No, Wheeze actually pit to change to get rid of the wing damage. But yeah, both of their races, unless there's a safety car now, completely totaled at this point.
I'd agree with you there. That's Zoger catching up to the back of Z-Man here now as they go through 130R. Possibly Zoger might be close enough by Casio Triangle to make a dive. As doesn't do it, thankfully. But the underbraking Charlie has just caught right up to the back of the pair.
Z-Man
sorry to cut you again, but we have the 3, 4, and 5 right here, all very close together, within a second of each other. This could be an entertaining fight for the final podium spot. As Tadpole knows he doesn't need to fight them because he will get this podium back purely on the penalties.
That's if he doesn't make any mistakes.
But Joe is now technically within pit stop range of Corey, so if Corey boxes this, he probably won't now, he's seen it, but if Corey boxes, he will not be winning this race. As down towards the spoon curve now, Joe is going to not look for the inside of the chiller there. But back in the midfield, it's all very close again. The Renault is all over the back of Zoger. He's going to try the outside of spoon curve. That's not going to work. That's the outside of spoon curve, especially when the car in front of you's lagging. It doesn't go well.
Oh, Bass got oversteer.
Here we are back on board with the fight for the third place position. No one made a move into the Casio triangle. No one made a move on the back straight. But down to turn 1, Tadpole is going to get swallowed up by the chiller and Joe, not Zoger. But the midfield again on the minimap looked inseparable for a moment. Jesus Christ, they look too close together for comfort, don't they?
Yeah, and especially with Zoger's lag.
It's scary that Rev has caught back up and could possibly get P7 in this race.
I think he will.
If he negotiates these guys well enough.
He doesn't have penalties and they do, so...
Oh yeah. There you go, he's guaranteed P7, then he doesn't even have to try.
Yeah. As he makes a move on
There's
Zoger
Joe,
right now,
though,
actually.
diving up the inside of the chiller into the hairpin here. As they bang wheels, Joe, I don't know why I keep calling him Zoger. Joe lost the rear on the exit as they bang wheels.
Been ghosted for a second.
Yep.
Been heavy. Yeah, 5
Joe
laps.
did get pushed off track.
5 laps left to go.
Yep. As we look at the DRS here, neither did Chiller or Joe have good amounts of DRS, but the difference here is that Joe is going up the inside of 130R. I nearly called it spoon.
Spoon curve.
That's an amazing move from Joe, but back in the midfield though, there is again Rev doing a copycat move of what Joe just did. The teammates doing identical moves on the exact same lap.
Same person conspiracy. Same person.
Here you go, here's the camera angle of the brake duct again. As Joe has obviously now negotiated his way through the chiller, so he will be catching up to Tadpole. The difference again here is Tadpole has 30% ERS and Joe has 13% ERS.
Joe also has DRS.
And penalties.
Yeah. Why is everything named something RS? Like, you stick a random letter.
Reduction
in front
system,
of
recovery
RS.
system. That's a Renault off at the back in his bass branch.
That might allow Zoga to collect a point here. It'll be a scabby point,
penalties.
but yeah. But still,
Charlie will drop out of the top 10 though on his penalties.
might not be enough time. Actually, if you stick a random letter before RS, it'll probably be an F1 turn.
Anyways, as we look here, Joe, he will currently be picking up driver of the day by the game for 11 positions gained. As he nearly rear-ended Tadpole there.
Bass also gains a 3-second penalty, so it will not be on penalties. He will have to fight through Zoga. He catches back up.
But he will get ahead of Charlie at the least.
Okay,
As Joe and Tadpole go side by side through turn 1 and 2.
Oh, Charlie pits. Don't know why he's pit.
Softs for the fastest lap. No, he's going for mediums.
I have no idea why he's pit then.
And he's got a 5-second to serve too. Well, that's his race done. Ah, there you go. He's retired.
Yeah, even a safety car now wouldn't help him. Or Weeds or Red Hawk.
Safety car now wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it'll only be out for 1 lap. It's too late.
So it looks like Corey was able to do a mediums to softs in this race. Now that is impressive.
His softs still don't look completely dead either.
I know, I'm gonna go and check his lap times. They've still been in the 29s, not one of them has left the 29s. Which is very good for him. I think he's pushing a lap, conserving a lap, pushing a lap, conserving a lap.
Maybe. I mean, he doesn't even really have to worry because JD's got a 3-second penalty. 2 laps to go. Is
And
not
there's
going
no
to
way,
be much.
unless he makes a mistake, commentator's curse here, but unless he makes a mistake, he's safe.
I don't think Joe's going to get a podium today.
I
Got
just said
6
unless he makes a
seconds.
mistake, and then he touched the grass. I'm just gonna stop watching him. I think... No, he won't unless Tadpole picks up a penalty.
I also have a curse. In F2, whoever I watch crashes.
Oh, I know.
That's probably why I don't commentate F2 anymore.
That's Joey's not gonna make him move up the inside there. Thought better of it since what happened with the chiller.
Don't think you can anyway.
He could have, he was literally on his
Oh,
gearbox.
I wasn't watching. Surely
He goes up the inside into spoon curve. They bang wheels front right to back left, but so Joe pulls out of that move. As Joe runs wide, they make the run down to 130R again, for the penultimate time in the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka. As Joe is now out of the RS fully, as they make the run through 130R down to the Casio Triangle.
Z-Man will need a miracle if he can keep P8 by the end of this race. Not only on track, but not only on penalties, but also on track. Zoga so close to him, he's not been giving him any breathing room. I say that as he gets a really bad corner.
You should just... Your commentator's curse is the worst.
I
Me
know.
and Finn together though, that's just horrible. You should have seen F2 when we did that, that was...
What did he say, like, oh, someone's catching up, then they instantly die?
You should have seen me and Storm Bahrain this season. We were on about Joe and then Joe spun.
I got ruined in that race. They didn't.
Oh, I
they on the safety car. They started, then didn't. So I turned early, thinking I could go, but then it was like.
Did you not see what happened in Baku?
No.
Or you were involved in what happened in Baku?
Was it?
You got spun.
By Golden, yeah.
Yeah, but on the safety car restart as well. It was
Oh
stupid.
no, I remember. They started and then stopped, and I was looking behind me because he was behind me. And then when I looked in front of me, Bass was in front of me, braking, and I had no time to react.
Sorry to cut you off again a second, but as Corey makes it through the Casio Triangle for the final time in this race, JD has got within a second of him. Give it a few more laps and I reckon he would have been by, as Corey is your race winner here and JD takes P2. Tadpole will, no matter what happens, take P3, even though Joe's going to try and get it on track anyway, because that's Joe for you, and I think he did.
No, I didn't.
But Joe keeps P4, Chiller P5, Spence will come across the line, take P5 in this race, Chiller P6, Rev P7 as he spins across the line, Z-Man P8, P9, sorry, Zogra P8, Z-Man P9, Bass P10, and then Wheeze and Red Hawk will be out of the points in this one.
Yeah. Unlucky for them too.
Who would you say your driver of the day goes to today then?
I mean, it has to be Joe. Like his race was over.
Who?
Until that safety car, Joe.
Yeah, as much as he is my manager, and this is going to sound very biased, he did have a very good race. And I've got to be honest, some of them... Although I would like to give it to Rev as well. Because,
he made a good
again,
comeback.
this is going to sound biased because he's, again, in the same sort of academy as me, but... Rev had a very interesting fight with Barker in the first sector, and it was impressive for both of them really to have held that and kept their composure.
I mean, it's got
As
to be
even there you
Joe
go, the
though.
game gives him driver of the day as well.
Like, his race was over. I didn't think he'll be in contention for even, like, maybe a top 10 finish, unless he was lucky. But then
I
the
saw the
safety
top
car
10,
came
but I
out.
didn't see a podium.
Yeah. The safety car came out, and I wasn't really paying attention to him. Then, like, within 2 laps, he's already back up to 7th, pretty much. And then he's just fighting and fighting through that field.
So that was your podium celebrations there from P1, 2 and 3. Corey, JD and Tadpole taking the P1, 2 and 3. So this is your final top 10 finishing order. It goes from Corey, JD, Tadpole, Joe, Spence, The Chiller, Rev, Zogger, Z-Man, and rounding out the top 10 was Bass. So I believe the next time you will hear from anyone here is on Saturday of next week at 9 PM from Finn for Formula 2 in Belgium, I want to say. And then the next time you will hear from at least me will be next week, same time at 8:30 PM in America. So we will see you then.
You'll probably hear me as well because that's my second worst track.